So am I already constipated room of things? I'm going to see how far I can get with this box. Now, one of the things, caution, open carefully. I can appreciate that, but they should have put like an arrow or something, and I'm not seeing it. Top, you know, don't stack vertically, stack horizontally. That's probably something I would have done because unsuspecting people, I don't know how it's packed inside, and, being what it is and had the journey that it's come here on, out of the factory into a cargo, ship with tons of other stuff on pallets. Who the heck knows what the heck how it's kind of laid out on the inside. But I don't have enough room in this room. I'm not going to go around the room here. It's pathetic. But, I got too many projects going on at once, and let's give you a hint. A lot of it's not hobby related. It's kind of scanning pictures and stuff. But anyway, so, I don't have one of these body cam deals or one of these mounts I can put on my chest and hold the camera. So I'm going to have to do this kind of in a piecemeal fashion, that type of stuff. Tomy, however you want to put it. TTT, triple T's, item number, I guess. All right, so I don't think it's a high theft move to kind of put the name of what's inside of it, or description, but whatever. I guess you got to figure out the people who are using some sort of code to figure out what's inside, or who's handling this thing probably would be a nice idea, but whatever. Anyway. In fairness, these edges are reinforced on the end of the exterior of the box. My guess is probably just to stack many of them on top of pallet, because, you want to kind of reinforce this. This is kind of the landing point for the next box that goes on top or below it. So, there's nothing bulging. It feels okay, Yeah, I had a nice smokehouse salad tonight. It was one of those kit salads, but it was good because it had... what else was it? It had romaine lettuce. There was chopped radicchio in there. There was also some red cabbage. There was some diced very thin. It was very nice finely. It was smoked cheddar that was put in there. What else was in there? Chopped apples. I think they were probably Honey Crisps. They were really good. And then there was a really nice dressing, Dijon with a little bit of kick to it, and I kind of think it was balsamic, and there was also some dried cranberries in it. It was really good salad, I don't know, should I open the box up, see what's in it? All right, we can do that. Rather than sit here and go through every last detail and try to fumble with this camera stuff, these turned out to be reinforced pieces of cardboard because I cut right through this. So I opened one flap up. Of course, you open the flap. And ultimately, did I open the other flap? This is the ultimate flap. Now, the box is nice. I like, first of all, they took some thought and effort into it. Look at, they put even on the artwork at the bottom. Look, high camera, high hand. Even on the artwork on the box, you could see these Aztecian motif going on the ship. And I think that's a pretty handsome thing for package design. Most of the time you get these packages coming in, even this crud when I order stuff off of Amazon or online, they come in these really cool packages. Sometimes you're more impressed with the package than you are with the contents. And, well, I hope that's not the case here. But the fact of the matter is I want to see how this is kind of worked its way here. I see there's some tape here. No tape here, so maybe yeah, okay. So you probably open it up this side. It'll kind of sandwiches up, and it's like almost opening a coffin, I guess. But, yeah, I wonder, I had to license the font, and of course, obviously, this is a fully licensed product, I would imagine. So, that's that. So my pedestrian form of thinking here, I thought that maybe I could open the box without having to take it out of the big box. What a junk fest. I got too many projects at once. It happens when you get old, man. You know, you can't go to nice, cool things like vacations and stuff. You wind up buying freaking replicas, man. Anyway, yeah, so getting back to this screed, you know, how can I say? You got to be very careful getting this out. I mean, honestly, it looks like from here is it's taped on one side in 3 spots. I've already gotten the top one out, so now I figured you got to take these off, which, you know, if you really want to see me do some kind of work here, this is ridiculous. But I'm just going to go like this for the camera. Yes, that salad was really good, by the way. I'm still thinking about it more than I am this. All right, so that's open too. So I guess you got to open it from the side, right? Because it's in this particular, you know, that's one thing I don't see in some of these online, I guess I could call them reviews. Oh, you see my finger there, high finger. These online reviews or rebukes or whatever. I'm just, you know, look, I'm just making this observation that I had to open it up from the side. Let the record show that I had to take it out of the box first and open it up on its side. All right, we'll see where that goes here. I'll have to slide it out. And I'm sure this looks like the cap comes on the top, and we'll take one problem at a time here, you know. But that's that. All right, I spent a lot of effort trying to just unsleeve this out of the box. I unless I'm really going mental here and just have no patience for watching online videos, I don't think anybody pointed out that you were going to have this kind of effort just to slide this out of the box, get it out of the outer box, then sliding it out of this box, and then potentially taking a piece of the styrofoam with it. Yeah. So far, you know, I'm not going to give you my observations. Here's what you got. You got probably an instruction book, I imagine. It is kind of encased in carbonite. No, not encased in carbonite. Oof, wrong movie. So it's got some sort of deal going on here where I guess it's shrinked here. Or taped. It's taped. Shrinked, taped, I don't know. I'm doing this on the fly. Just the instructions, which apparently they sent new instructions via email. So, I don't know, is this right or wrong? Is it just, either way, it's kind of just taped in there. Oh, I see. And then, you know, it's like an instruction manual you would get with a TV or something, but only thinner. And voila, finally out of the thing. Yeah, that's probably it's a disclaimer, you know, warranty, all that stuff. All right, don't forget this tape going around the perimeter of the top here. I just took a knife, very gently just went around the perimeter because I don't want to have a bang chow moment there. Everybody wang chung tonight. Anyway, now I can open the sarcophagus. I can open it this way, and let's see what we got, all right? I'm not going to drum roll, I'm just going to do it. And, okay, we got the base. Looks like what it is, the base, and it's a heavy base. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Oof for the doofada, yeah. There you can see there's an electronic connector in there. I guess you can see it, I don't know. Yeah, so the concept is it plugs in the bottom of the ship, transfers the electrical to the base, which here allows you to control, I guess. Yeah, should have a USB-C here. Hence, therefore, whatever, the 2.1 amp adapter. I honestly am this way and that way. I'm not understanding in my pretty respectable electronic language why it would matter if you do anything beyond 2.4 ampere AC adapter. I mean, honestly, it's only going to draw what it needs to draw. It's the undercurrent and the under voltage you got to worry about, where the lights don't turn on. You know, from what I could see, maybe some people's power sources aren't putting out at least 2.1 amps. Maybe that's the minimum current that it needs to have a sustainable amount of supply to the electronics in here and to provide power to everything. Thank goodness I didn't do sound effects. That would be a little tacky, but yeah, I don't understand. The 2.1, 2.4 is probably optimum. It's probably got just enough current to light this thing. So, I mean, it comes well packed. Look at it. I mean, there's styrofoam on the top and what do you call it there? And I could see parts of the ship already. It's you know, to say that this comes, you know, half cocked is not correct. It looks like it's pretty well packed to me. You know, of course, the main thing is, did it get damaged by UPS at any phase of the transference there from the warehouse to the house? It's coming ship ground, so who the heck knows? You know, could have been another one of those Ace Ventura moments. Who knows? All right, so thus far, you know, you can look at the hull and you can see the Aztec in there. Those patterns, which are really good. And again, I guess where lighting becomes pretty key because you get to see what you're going to get to see, and depending on the lighting. I'm looking at this bridge area here, and much to my chagrin, it's not as bad as, of course, the naysayers will say online. I mean, it's certainly not screen accurate, but as for, you know, your personal annoyance, I don't find it horrible. You know, it's actually did a good enough job. I mean, honestly, if I were doing this kit from the old AMT days back in the late 70s or whatever, 1980, whenever the kit came out, and trust me, though, I built that 4 times and that thing drove me nuts. You know, I had to spill paint all over the place, or the nacelles fell off, or, you know, the detail was kind of junky. I don't know. I have to say, I mean, you know, this is pretty nice. You know, I mean, what do you expect? I guess it's molded in white. You know, it reminds me of AMT white from the day, or MPC, or whoever the heck put it out. And like that. You know, I like to, you know, this way and that way. I'd like to take the whole thing out, but I'm also concerned about, you know, getting it back in. I just don't have the room to kind of put it anywhere. I could put it somewhere, but I'm going to be a fool here and look like a raving nut job. You know, I'm just doing a nice quick peek. Yeah, you're right. The cells are plastic. I can feel it, but, you know, the bottom part of the ship's definitely, you know, die cast. I could feel it. You know, the base is really heavy. And, you know, I mean, I'll get this out at some point so I can enjoy and plug it in. But so far, everything was looking okay from this point of view. You know, I'm not freaking out or flipping out, but, you know, you got to understand that AMT model is the only thing to go by. And you know, I know this is a bit of money, but it's certainly going to be better than what I was building all those years. It's certainly more accurate than I could have ever gotten it. All right, I kind of took it out of the Rimsky-Korsakov of a box it's got here. It's heavy. It is 20 pounds. I mean, it's heavy. I mean, I got this. You know, look, I got this quick cutaway Millennium Falcon. I'm wearing. I'm kind of doing right now, and I thought this was going to be heavy at 25 pounds. I read it. I'm not even half built, but this die-cast puppy here seems to be heavy. I picked this. You have to pick it up by the saucer section. You know, because it's the only way you're going to be able to get enough grip to check the weight out. But holy cannoli, Batman! What a weighted thing. I mean, you know, people are going to sit there. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it looks good. It looks nice. It's well done. I mean, for what it is. You know, if you're looking for screen accurate reproduction, you know, maybe you're going to be disappointed. I don't know. You know, I was just looking for a best representation of the model I can get, and yeah, it's $700, $749 to be exact with shipping. But you know, I bought and paid for it 2 years ago. It's off my, you know, listen, it's off my books as far as I'm concerned, and I wanted the best possible, you know, representation. I mean, the Polar Lights kit looks nice. looks customizable. But, you know, the deal breaker for me is, look, with all due respect, old guys don't paint Aztecing like this on a Polar Lights model. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Even with my nice fancy airbrushing in the other room, it's just not going to work. So, you know, to achieve this, you take your chances with anything in life. God, I've purchased stuff without stuff in the box. I mean, this is still pretty good. I'm not a raving, you know, I'm not going to sit there and swoon over it like it's, like I've just found the, you know, the Ten Commandments or something. But it's really a nice piece, I got to say. And I can see where the time and effort went into design and detail. I mean, you know, look, you know, all manufacturing aside, you know, everybody's going to be level of disappointment. I know how these things are made over in China. You go into a factory, there's up to 250,000 workers that are sitting there doing 95,000 different projects. You know, and if task number 245 comes on the list for the day and it's paint Aztec on Enterprise, and I'm sure there's some automation involved in it, but, you know, this stuff's not, it's not for the faint-hearted. To be able to get it as close as you can get, you know, whether it's certainly like, you know, people are not going to expect a screen-accurate Enterprise, that's for sure, but, you know, I mean, as a showpiece on your shelf, I think it's perfectly acceptable. Only geeks are going to know that maybe this color's off, and I'm like, is it going to annoy you enough? It might annoy some, sure. For me, it's not going to annoy me. I don't think it's going to annoy me too much, you know, because at this particular age, that ship sailed, no pun intended. And that's it. I mean, you know, what can I tell you? I mean, I feel for the people who've had their level of deformities here, but I haven't really checked and scrutinized every little micro inch of this yet, but maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. So far, it's looking okay. You know, I like how they did the Aztecing across the whole model. Now I have to ask, how do you get rid of that Aztecing for the subsequent movies, though? It's went to such effort to put that on there. I mean, if the Aztecing's all over the ship, why would you want to take that off an 8-foot, in the 8-foot shooting model? It's a mystery to me. I know we had lighting and all that, but how come Douglas Trumbull was able to light it and get it on screen and ILM wasn't for the compositing? They both use the same compositing. You know, I mean, come on. Trumbull worked with Dykstra. They use VistaVision cameras, 70 millimeters to get the best possible quality image. I mean, come on. I don't know. What do I know? Yeah. Look, I mean, give him props. It's a good standalone piece. You know, I had to flip it upside down. I just don't know if I'm going to be able in a position now to put it out and kind of display it at this moment in time until I get my proverbial act together here. You can see in the bottom, I guess this is where the mount goes for the base with the electronics. You know, very nice. Yeah, there's a dog. And, you know, I'm giving you this kind of view just so you could see close up some of the stuff going on. I didn't look at the shuttle bays yet and all that stuff. I guess they open and close. And I can check that out some other time when I got time. You know, but, you know. Going on some of the detail, you know, I mean. I could see there's a snot there. I mean, yeah. You know, I mean, look, I mean, it is what it is. That's all I can tell you. I'm not going to lose sleep over every little microcosm. If there is a defect, will I care about it? Probably not. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to probably throw this up on eBay, expect $2,000 or $3,000 for it. You know, listen, when I'm dead and buried in the ground, somebody could figure this stuff out. When you leave, you can't take it with you unless you're real rich and you want to put the thing in your coffin with you. But I think that'd be a little tacky, don't you? You know, like I say, when I get the chance to test the lighting and all that, and, you know, we take it one step at a time, see what works. I think I got a beefy enough adapter for this. It is 2.1 amps exact specs. Just wondering if 2.1 amps is exactly the right current. Shouldn't be probably higher, a little 2.4 or 2.2. I don't know. Who knows? Who really knows? But yeah, that's the booby baby. Yep. Look, also the seams are the paneling is not as bad as people have made it seem out online. I mean, it's a die cast. I mean, what are you expecting? Like washers to be applied to this thing, so you got these clearly delineated lines? That would look pretty goofy.